Performing governors, according to our survey. So let us start with the simple question, has devolution been a success? As I suggested in my opening remarks, this question divides the nation. According to our survey, the country is split down the middle, with 49% of overall respondents taking the view that it has not been a success, compared to a bare majority, 51%, who believe that it has been successful, an even narrower majority than that which we enjoyed for leaving the European Union in the United Kingdom. There is a slide contained in the press pack which will be shared with you after this presentation, which gives into a bit more detail about respondents' views on the success of devolution, breaking it down by gender and by age group. I would just highlight a couple of points from that data. The first is that amongst men, overall, a majority, 54%, believe that constitutional reform has been successful, while 52% of women say it's not been a success. But this gender imbalance reverses in the over 50s. In this category, a striking 56.64% of women see the reform as unsuccessful, while a similar percentage of men believe it has been a success. And it's not quite clear what drives this disparity. There could be a range of causes related to higher needs by older women on service provision by local governments as compared to men. And we hope that subsequent phases of our study may shed more light on this finding and others like it. This is a visual breakdown of that switch, as you can see in the bar charts to the right of the screen. And now for the moment, which I'm sure many of you have been waiting for. I feel rather like I'm awarding the Oscars here. Who are perceived to be the top performing governors? And this is based on national responses. So a collation of all the data, all the responses from all of those people interviewed across the nation, and it's based on a net figure. Those who approve believe that the particular governors are performing successfully, net of those who take the opposite view. And the result, amongst respondents from across the country, is that Governor Alfred Mutua of Machakos County was rated highest. Behind him is Wycliffe Oparanya of Kakamega, who achieves the second spot amongst Kenyans as a whole. And he is then followed by Mike Sonko of Nairobi, Kivuta Kibwana of Makueni, and Ali Hassan Joho of Mombasa. As the chart shows, there is then a marked drop-off in national approval ratings for the rest of the governors. I'll end with a national scorecard on the governors overall, which highlights the second point I made in my opening remarks, that the view of effectiveness of governors and local governments is very different in different parts of the country. We can see there, ranked from 1 to 47, each of the governors, with a very, very sharp difference in the net ratings that they achieve. And I'm sure that our study will provide lessons to be learned by those who, unfortunately, are lingering in the bottom half of that chart. I'll pass back for final comments to Stephen. Thank you. Asante.
The people we've spoken to since June to August have told us about essentially what they prioritize as their expectations from their county governments. Infrastructure development across the country is certainly the highest priority. and those counties that have delivered consistently on infrastructure have been rated extremely highly. The second area is public participation. Town halls and participation opportunities to identify the key priority projects, not just at the general county level, but drill down to the ward level. Analysis of how the delivery and sustainability initiatives are delivered. So it's not just the delivery of the infrastructure, but how you sustain the continued delivery, the continued training of the resource pool that are going to ensure that that infrastructure is exploited to the best plan. Women particularly feel disengaged is the feedback we had. And this in particular must be brought to dialogue to shape how services that affect them are delivered. The third area is efforts towards poverty eradication and economic growth. And counties that are seen to be actively attracting investment into their counties fared very well in the study. Basic service provision, water, electricity, and health, and food security, as well as education. The intervention in these areas by counties ranked them extremely highly. And the penultimate was the ability to self-generate revenue and de-risk from the reliance, both in terms of the quantum of funds availed, as well as the timing of those funds reaching county governments. And the more that counties are able to generate and collect revenue at the local level, gives them a huge advantage over others on how they can actually deliver on the services. And finally, there was a marked difference between the perception of governors who have traits and characters that are of a leader, not just at the county level, but at a national level. Not least in managing the political concerns between the assembly and the executive arms of the counties. So with those comments, I would like to wrap up. Thank you very much. I think there's some key lessons there, and as we have said, and would like to reiterate, this is an analysis at a point in time. We would be really pleased to come back in a year's time, probably shorter, and do another study and announce how have these progressed, who have improved in terms of ranking, as we raise the bar to performance, as we raise the bar as a country towards delivering to the citizens. We, as a firm, would be very keen to work with county governments. We have worked with other governments across the continent, and we have the right blend of skills, we believe, to make a difference. We have quite a lot of data that we have collected in the process of this study, and we'll be very happy to share our insights with counties that feel that that insight will be helpful to them as they deliver on the promise of devolution. Thank you very much all, and thank you for joining us today.